Now, when it comes to Judaism, who is Jesus in Judaism? Judaism rejects Jesus as the Messiah, does not accept him as divine or a prophet. He was just a regular guy who they believe was more like a heretic or a just a normal guy who is a heretic, essentially. They do not believe that Jesus will return. He's not considered the Messiah. According to Judaism, the true Messiah has not shown up yet. They do believe in a Messiah. So where there is some crossover between Christianity and Judaism is that Judaism does believe that there will be a Messiah that arrives, but they just believe that the Messiah hasn't arrived yet. And that's obviously different from Islam and Christianity. They also believe that the Messiah that shows up will rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, will gather all the Jews back to Israel, and will bring peace and knowledge of God to the world. So the key differences: Christianity, do they believe Jesus is divine? Yes. Does Islam believe Jesus is divine? No. Does Judaism believe that Jesus is divine? No. Does Christianity believe Jesus returns? Yes. Does Islam believe Jesus returns? Yes. Does Judaism believe Jesus returns? No. The role of Jesus, Christians believe he is the judge and the savior. Muslims believe he is a prophet who defeats evil and unites believers when he returns. And Judaism believes that he's nothing and they're awaiting some other guy. So that is the differences between the three religions when it comes to Jesus. So now in Islam, in the Quran, there's an entire book that is dedicated to the Mother Mary. Jesus is one of the most important prophets in Islam. The Muslims have maintained Jesus' historical sites in the Holy Land for centuries, in fact, whereas there have been many times when Jews have actually tried to destroy those sites. The Muslims have actually protected those sites because Jesus is also sacred to them. And so there is this whole idea of Judeo-Christian values. I don't think that we could actually use the term Judeo-Christian or Islamic Christian or Judeo-Islamic or, combining any of them together. The only way that you could combine them is to say they're all Abrahamic. They all believe in a Messiah. There are some certain commonalities between all three, but to pretend like two have more in common than, or two have shared values and the third one doesn't is not accurate at all, and it's just a form of gaslighting. And in fact, the term Judeo-Christian didn't even come around until after World War II. And it was after the Holocaust that there was this, and you can see where it comes from. It comes from this whole, hey, Jesus was a Jew. We have shared values with you. There's this kind of like, don't harm us, don't be against us, which is an understandable position to take, and to say, we're a lot more like you than you think. And that's where this kind of narrative came from. It was this attempt to say by Jews to Christians, stop persecuting us. We have a lot more in common than you think. But it's kind of become a runaway train. And now you've got, people are using this narrative of Judeo-Christian values in order to persecute the Muslims, rather than where it began as hey, we have a lot in common. We're a lot like you. Don't persecute us. It's now being used as a tool to persecute an entire other group, which is why the record has to be corrected now and why we have to spend time talking about what are Judeo-Christian values versus what is Islam. What do they believe when it comes to Jesus, to try to educate people, because now they're all thinking that Muslims are a bunch of basically a satanic cult that has nothing in common with Christianity, when in fact, actually, it has more in common with Christianity than Jews and Christians have when it comes to the single most important figure in Christianity, Jesus Christ. When it comes to, let's talk about another post that was under Cenk's, his post, someone had posted saying, oh, really?